Gloom, despair, and agony on me. Deep, dark depression, excessive misery. That's what we get when we watch the news these days. Federal government budget, bad. Unemployment, bad. But if you'd like some good news, stay with me here on City Profile. Hello and welcome to this edition of City Profile. I'm Tom Butler, and with me today is one of my favorite guests because he tells it like it is. That's the Mayor, Bill Paxton. Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you, Tom. Good to be with you today.
Thank you, and I'm excited about today's show because you said you're coming here to tell us some good news, and boy, could we use some good news around these days. Before we start with the good news, though, I think that the people in the city would like to kind of know what went on with this city manager deal. You know, we were about ready to hire one, and then all of a sudden he's pulled out. The Mercer Group has admitted probably some mistakes from the city's perspective. What's been going on?
Well, Tom, we thought we had a city manager hired. We had not signed a contract. We were still negotiating with him on salary, benefits, etc. But during that time, it came out that he did not have the experience that we were requiring. And the experience that we were asking was to be either an assistant city manager or a city manager for a period of 7 years. He said that he had been a city manager for 7 years in Colorado, and we found out that was not true. So he had misled us, and so fortunately, our due diligence at the city and at the same time Mercer's due diligence found it, and so we pulled our offer, and it was unfortunate. It just seems like in this day and time people don't always tell the truth, and so what we have done is we are continuing to use Mercer. They have agreed to do this renewed search for no charge. So I think everybody sort of learned a lesson in this. And so we are hoping that by the 1st of October we'll have some new candidates. We'll pick one, and fairly soon we'll have a new city manager on board.
Now, Mercer's one of the top organizations that does these type of searches.
Correct.
You know, when I first read that, I thought, ooh, that's a pretty bad mistake for them to make, and will the city trust them in the future? So obviously you think that everybody gets one mistake, and then that's going to be, hopefully they've rectified it.
That's right. When you have somebody mislead you like that and are deliberately doing that, sometimes it's hard to catch that. Mercer is doing the Kentucky League of Cities. We have confidence in them. We think we're going to get a good city manager soon. Okay,
that's the bad news. Actually, the good news, we're going to get a new city manager.
That's correct.
Let's talk about this. You earlier this year did a State of the City address for us, and you wanted to come in and give us some good news. I did the old hee-haw, gloom, despair, because that's what we hear on the news, especially economically. Mm-hmm. But what I'm hearing from you is things aren't all bad in Paducah. We are more financially stable than we have been in the past, and things seem to be looking okay.
Tom, you're exactly right. Paducah, McCracken County. Several years ago, 2 years ago, the city of Paducah saw this recession coming. We, as I've said in the past, we merged some departments together. We actually acted like the private sector, and we laid some people off, which isn't always fun, but sometimes necessary. In some of those actions, we were able to save about $3 million a year in our budget, which allowed us to continue to do the quality of life issues like the ice skating rink, the Greenway Trail, the pavilion to keep the quilt show there. So we have been in this recession in pretty good shape as a city. Now, what are the cause and effects of that? Well, for one is Standard & Poor came to the city and said, we're going to raise the level of your rating, Paducah, by 2 points, by 2 levels. And they gave us a AA negative rating, which is 2 or 3 from the very top. And so there was a bond that we were going to refinance, and so we went from a 4.9% interest rate to a 2.9% interest rate. And so what did that do? That saved us over 10 years $1 million in payments. Now that $1 million will go to the taxpayers to continue to do the quality of life, trying to attract economic development to our community. So we are in good shape where the federal government and the state has red ink and is struggling. The city and the county is doing well. And our unemployment is in July down to 8.4%. That's compared to 9.9 statewide and 9.6 federal. So we are doing well here, and I wanted to come today, Tom, and talk about all the projects that we have going that are going to create jobs, create investment, and make this region even stronger than it is.
One of the first things that always comes to my mind, because I work at an educational institution, is what's going on in education, because we hear that economic development and education are very closely tied together. And we've got some things going on in the county and the city in education. I know we have a new middle school going to be built. Is that
That
true?
is absolutely correct, Tom. What I'm going to talk to you about does several things. It improves our educational system in the city and in the county. But it's also, because it's construction, it creates jobs, which is going to help our community. So it has a double whammy. But we are getting a new middle school, and it will be built on Lone Oak Road, where the current one is located. And it's going to be a $17 to $19 million project, which will bring a beautiful new middle school to Paducah, which will help educate our young people, and that is a good thing. Obviously, the people know that in the county, they're building a new merged county high school. That's going to be $52 million. So again, it shows economic development people that Paducah, McCracken County believe education is important, and we're willing to put dollars into our educational system in order to train our young people, and so they can be qualified to get a job, but also it's going to create an awful lot of construction jobs.
And that's going to, those people are going to get paid, they're going to pay taxes, and they're going to enhance the economy of the county and the city.
That's exactly right, Tom. It just is a win-win situation. Along with the middle school and the high school, you've got Murray State that is moving forward to build a Paducah campus here. You've got Mid-Continent that we've all heard off of Pecan Drive that is going to build a Paducah campus. You've got the art school that is continuing to expand. They have this fall, Tom, 370 students in their enrollment. So things are going well with that. So our education is going well, and it certainly shows our commitment in Paducah, McCracken County on where we place education as a priority.
A project that you told me about this morning before the show was an Anderson Court upgrade. So we're going to upgrade some of the housing in Paducah and McCracken County as well.
Housing is important, and we have an area called Anderson Court. We're getting ready to spend about $4 million on Anderson Court to do some large upgrades in that area, which is.
We're seeing some of those on the screen now. That's an artist's rendition of what's going to be happening. It looks like a two-story apartment building, and before that we saw some housing. It looks like individual housing that was going to be upgraded in that area as well.
You have a combination there, and so it's going to give the people pride in where they live. It's going to help the overall neighborhood, Lower Town, downtown. So that's a good thing. That's a $4 million project. You've got, we've got some senior housing going up on H.C. Mathis Drive. It's a $3.8 million project.
When you say senior housing, what do you really mean by it? What's that mean? Is that going to be like a Dolly McNutt Court kind of thing, or?
Well, it will be an area on H.C. Mathis Drive, right next to our senior citizen office complex, which will house people that are considered senior citizens, and everybody will be located there together with and we are moving some people from Anderson Court and from other areas of the city into this one location, which will be newer, which will be nicer.
Is this all new construction?
All
or is
new
this
construction.
Renovation?
There is nothing there right now, Tom, but an empty lot. So that's starting as we speak, and so it's going to be wonderful for our citizens of Paducah. So, and then on top of that, right here on campus of West Kentucky Community and Technical College, they're building a Scholars House, and that is for young ladies who have children who need daycare and a place to live while they get their education. There is going to be housing here on campus, an $8.5 million investment that will house these young ladies, will give daycare to their children while they go to school.
I know that's a big need in at least on our campus, because we have so many single mothers that struggle so hard to get a higher education, and they're always worried about what will happen with their children while they're away at school, and so that really seems like a really great project.
Well, that is a partnership between our housing authority here, Dr. Veazey, West Kentucky Community and Technical College. And it's an excellent partnership, and it's going to pay off.
Other things that are going on, we have some improvements, it looks like, going on at Noble Park. And I know a lot of people love the Greenway Trail. Mm-hmm. Got some things going on there too.
Tom, you're right. Noble Park, we're doing a major $500,000 expansion, which will reroute the road by our amphitheater, give the people there more room to get there and to leave. A nice, beautiful new parking lot in front of our swimming pool. Just some major improvements, some plantings, so cosmetically the place will look more attractive. So a lot of people use Noble Park, and they drive through Noble Park, and they walk in Noble Park. And not only do they walk around the pond, which we have a beautiful trail that goes around the pond, but they walk through the Greenway Trail. And that is currently from one end to the next and back 3.5 miles. And so people are using that. I walk that in the mornings, and the crowds are large. We're going to expand that to the river, underneath the highway going up to the Irving Cobb Bridge, over on the other side, and all the way downtown to the riverfront. So here in the next year, we're going to have about, I'm going to say 8 to 10 miles of Greenway Trail that's going to help bicyclers, walkers, and it's going to be a wonderful thing.
I remember when the Greenway Trail opened, you and I took a trip down there and walked on it, and it was, I really like doing that, and I think this expansion is going to be something that people are going to love. Yeah.
They are going to love it, Tom. And then our riverfront development project, that's moving forward. We still don't have all the permissions from the State of Kentucky Environmental Cabinet that we need to have, but we do have the money in place, thanks to Senator McConnell and some other grants that we have received. So we have about $10 to $12 million that is going to go to build this riverfront project with a marina. And so hopefully maybe by this fall or next spring we can get started on that, which will enhance our riverfront.
I was going to ask you, because I know that there were some environmental issues, when you thought that those might be resolved so that the construction could get underway. So.
Tom, I wish I had an answer for you this morning. We're still negotiating. I'll be nice and say we're still negotiating with the state of Kentucky. Rick Murphy is working extremely hard. We have the governor's office is helping us, and I think we'll get it resolved. We had some issues with the mussels, but what we want to do is a new, improved area for our citizens. We're not going to hurt the environment. We're going to help the environment. So we're hoping that will be resolved soon.
I'm looking at the photograph that we have on our presentation, and on the riverfront redevelopment. It looks like a building of some sort there. Is that a part of the marina, or is that another piece of the puzzle?
No, that's a part of the marina. That will be where the people can get gas and pay for the gas, go in and get food if they would like to eat. There'll be restrooms in there, so it will be just part of that. And as you see, there's a lot of open space inside that marina infrastructure. And what we're hoping is that once we get this much of it built, that the private sector will come along and actually build the rest of the marina and operate it. We're not trying to compete with Kentucky Dam or Ken Lake or whatever. We're just wanting a marina where as people go up and down the river, they can park their boats and stay in Paducah a couple of days and enjoy what we have to offer, and then go on to their merry way.
Are we still in future planning going to redevelop the entire riverfront area where the Wilson stage is now, and there had been some plans to come across the flood wall over the top of it with some type of structure for the River Heritage Museum or the River Discovery Center?
There are 3 phases, Tom, to the riverfront, and this is phase 1. Phase 2 will be Broadway to Kentucky Avenue. Now, we have told the citizens of Paducah there is a big group of people who enjoy driving down Broadway, down to the riverfront and back up Kentucky Avenue, and they want to continue to do that. Initially, we thought that if they could walk down there and get a little exercise and enjoy the beautiful area, that would make everybody happy. But there's a segment that want to drive down there, so we are going to revisit that. Have our consultants draw up a plan where you'll still be able to continue to drive down there, but we need to upgrade the Wilson stage and make that a nicer area for outside concerts. And so that will be phase 2, and then phase 3 will go from Kentucky Avenue to the Crown's property.
I think that's great that you are reconsidering whether people can drive down there or not, because criticism of our government recently has been they're not listening to the people. And it sounds like that's what you're doing here, is listening to the people. There's a certain segment of people that really enjoy driving their cars down and looking at the river. Right. And so you're, in this plan, making accommodations for that.
Well, we are, Tom, and we're going to continue to listen to the public. Now, phase 1 it will allow you to drive to the river on phase 1 also. So by the time we get this over, there'll be 2 areas that you can drive down and enjoy the river. Schultz Park will be expanded. So this is going to be a $40 to $50 million project when it's all done. And again, it's a project that's going to need construction workers and bring people to Paducah to get a job, which is a good thing.
That's great. Another thing that started, I think we've had it maybe 2 years now, maybe just one, is the ice skating rink.
Yeah. Actually, Tom, this will be our 3rd year.
This will be our 3rd.
This
so
will
we've
be
had
our
it
3rd.
2 years before.
And people are just thoroughly enjoying that.
They loved it.
I spoke to some first graders yesterday, and I had them raise their hand, everybody that had been to the ice skating rink, and just about every one of them had been down there to the ice skating rink. So again, this is a quality of life issue for Paducah. Not only do you have to create jobs for your people, but you got to give them something to do so they enjoy themselves. And this ice skating rink, there's now debates on whether we expand it or whether we keep it the same size, whether we build it where we own it as opposed to leasing it every year. So those debates will go on, but we hope to continue to have an ice skating area every winter from now
Well,
on.
and you've touted the benefits of this, not just because of the people. I mean, it's very inexpensive for people to come in and go skating, very inexpensive.
Yeah.
But this gets people downtown in
That's
a
right.
time where there's not a whole lot going on downtown because of the weather and it's cold and things like that. But you can ice skate when it's cold.
Well, that's when you do ice skate.
That's when you do ice skate.
Somebody told me that that the mayor must be crazy for building this ice skating rink because everybody knows that it doesn't get cold enough in Paducah to freeze. Of course, we had to explain to them that there are coils underneath that freeze the ice. So, this does. Santa makes a visit down there every Christmas. We sell Christmas trees down there. Hoopers has an area where they sell gloves and hats. People come down there in flip-flops when it's 30 degrees out and no hat, no gloves. So we have an area for them to buy things like that. So it's just a great. Kids come in from college. They have something to do. It's good physical exercise, and we're tickled to death with it.
In the last 5 or 6 minutes, executive end going to be gone.
Executive end, Tom. I hope that in the next 2 to 3 weeks, the demolition will start, and we will bring that down, and that will be ready for the next phase. And so at that point, we will then send out requests for proposals to developers that would like to build a new hotel next to our convention center.
So you think that's the plan, as far as you can see, is for them to build where the executive inn is now, not some kind of attachment somewhere else outside the flood wall, but inside the flood wall next to the convention center?
Well, those negotiations will continue, but what we're being told by people who know is that convention people want to have the hotel connected to the convention center somehow. And we've got to attract conventions. We have now 150,000 square feet of convention space for conventions, counting the pavilion. So I think a hotelier will be very successful down there, and it'll be good for downtown.
What else we got going on? I see we got some things out at the mall area and some other expansions going on.
Yeah, Tom. I'm emphasizing that construction jobs are so important here, and everything that we're talking about today is creating jobs. And so at the mall area, that whole mall area, you have new motels going up. At the new Fairfield Inn and Suites is building a new hotel. So we're hearing that our hotels are 70% occupied. So that's a wonderful thing. You've got Chick-fil-A just building a new restaurant. Not only did people have to build it, but now they're employing about 60 people. Panera Bread. Dick's Sporting Goods is going to employ 140 people when it gets up and running.
That's going to be an anchor store.
That's going to be an anchor store there at the mall.
So that's a big one because we've lost a couple of anchors out there.
It's a big one, and so that's going on. You've got in the economic development area, you've got H.B. Fuller just announced 11 new jobs. Well, it was only 5 or 6 years ago, Tom, when we were afraid H.B. Fuller was going to close and move. They are now back up to about 60 jobs and could get up to the 100 level here fairly soon. You have P&L Railroad. The City of Paducah and GPDC worked hard to keep P&L Railroad in Paducah. And so consequently, they're building this beautiful facility right behind the Performing Arts Center in downtown Paducah. And they're going to employ about 100 people there. So it's good. You've got H.T. Hackney building a brand new building out at the Industrial Park West. They're going to add 40 new jobs They're a food distribution center, and they've been located down inside the city, and they needed to expand, and so they're building about a $17 million building. So that's going to help. You got Kentucky Publishing Company building a new building at the Information Age Park. You got Payment Plus building a beautiful new building out at the information area. So from an economic development standpoint, we're creating new jobs, which we hope to get that 8.4% unemployment rate down to 8% or down to 7.5%. So those things are happening. And then we're building an addition to the jail. The county is expanding the jail, expanding the emergency building that they're building. So, Tom, there's just a lot of things going on. You've got Umstead Dam, 30 miles from Paducah, that has 1,500 people working there. They do most of their buying in Paducah. They live in Paducah. You've got 500 people working at Kentucky Dam to expand that. You've got USEC up to 1,200 people. You've got 1,000 people doing the cleanup work out there. So there's more people working out there, Tom, today than were working out there over the last 30 years. So you add all these things together, Tom, and you can see why Paducah-McCracken County's economy is doing well.
I'm really impressed with all of the things that you've brought us here today, because as we started out, if you watch the news, mostly what you get is gloom and despair, but not in Paducah.
Not in Paducah.
We've got a lot of things going on, a lot of construction, a lot of possibilities of some additional jobs in the city and the county area. Good news.
Good news. I think so. Some of this is good work by the commission, city commission, good work by the fiscal court. Some of it's luck. We just happen to be at the right place at the right time. But it's our job as city officials to create an environment where which people want to come to Paducah and work and live and make an investment. And I think the city and the county is doing that, and I believe it's paying off.
And that is the last word for today. Mayor Bill Paxton, thank you so much for being with us here today on City Profile, and thank you for joining us. Join us again next time. I'm Tom Butler.